give me cut number 3 because it's time to start scout the Lions.
Earmark that. Here is a completion to Jamison Williams. He is gone. Touchdown Lions.
Now, there are plenty of things to talk about with the Lions, but what I also want to throw out there is in this hour, as well as in the noon o'clock hour, we will be giving away tickets to Cowboys Lions. It's a fact.
Us?
I think it's courtesy of Miller Lite.
Okay,
I was
that's fine.
trying to make us sound big and important.
I'm big and important.
But yes, courtesy of Miller Lite for making that happen. And they also helped make our appearance happen at Buffalo Wild Wings on Friday in Louisville. But yeah, so stay by your dial or your app or whatever for that. All right, with the Lions, we played the cut of Jamison Williams. Is he at the top of your list? Is it more like Jahmyr Gibbs? Is it Jared Goff? Like who are you thinking of immediately when you think of the Lions?
I mean, obviously it's Montgomery. That's the first thing that comes to mind is whether or not he's going to be doing his thing. And I guess Jahmyr Gibbs is there too because he's the breakaway. Montgomery is the thunder, if you will, for that whole thing. But it's him first, then what Jared Goff can do whenever their run game is working. So Jamison Williams, big play expert. Happy that Deron Bland looks like he might be back for it because that's somebody I think can run with him. I think
for
Diggs.
Sure.
I'm still a little concerned. Somebody brought up yesterday or Monday they were discussing it with me and they were like, Diggs looks like he just kind of lost it a little bit still. I said he's still recovering. I think that catch-up speed is still it's going to get back. It might take a little more time, but maybe he'll get back to it. But I am concerned about play action and what they can set up there because Jared Goff has been one of the best play action quarterbacks around. So just keep an eye out for them trying to establish that because they know the Cowboys, A, are afraid of people running on them, B, working hard to keep people running on them, and C, will bite down just enough so that they can get the space to make big plays with Williams.
And then, as you could probably guess, a couple of people said Hutch for sure, the favorite, and if not, certainly one of the favorites to win Defensive Player of the Year on the other side of the ball.
Sean Sharif from the morning show, Kevin, here on 105.3 The Fan, just texted and said Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is most concerned about him.
All right, so it's that combination of players right there that makes you nervous because Detroit is the only team in the NFL that has 4 different players to produce 250 scrimmage yards or more and 2 touchdowns this season.
Is Laporta one of them?
No, actually, believe it or not. It's Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Jamison Williams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But you mentioned Laporta. Obviously, Jared Goff has gotten off to a slower start than he has the last couple of seasons, but that right there lets you know it's perhaps a more balanced team than anywhere across the rest of the league. The fact that you look at 2 of their running backs, 2 of their wide receivers as being legitimate threats already this season. And remember, the Lions have only played 4 games. So if you're like, 250, not that impressive. They have played 1 fewer game than the Cowboys.
On the other side of the ball, though, that's offensively. And on the other side, I don't want to get too far ahead here, but Aiden Hutchinson,
he's a monster.
Where's he lining up? How's he lining up? Because he can beat Terrence Steele. He can beat Guyton. And you heard Nick Eatman on this morning. He was like, I still think Jerry Jones said it. Stephen Jones has said it. I still think that Guyton is going to be your starting left tackle.
Yes.
And I think it was somebody asked Broadus on Twitter, is it more mental or physical with Guyton? And Broadus said physical. It's footwork, hand placement, all the physical parts of his technique are just lacking a little bit. He's got so much work to learn to be a pro left tackle. So Aiden Hutchinson is a big-time concern because he can get to Dak Prescott, and that's really the key to this Dallas offense.
Is it also a concern to you that it feels like confidence level at just this moment in time is really low for Guyton and Steele? I mean, Steele, you saw him get eaten up a couple of times in the last game, and then Guyton, he's a rookie. It's going to take time, but right now, it just doesn't look particularly good.
Yeah, no, again, I think he's got the ability to do it, and I think he has the will and work and desire to do it as well. It's just, can he keep his feet under him? Putting your feet in the right place is so important at that position, and that's why, like, Tyron Smith always had great leverage because of the way he was set and where he was. He didn't reach for anything. He always took that left foot was going out to make the play. Kevin Warren Sharp, do you like him at all?
Yes.
You hate him? He posted the Havoc rates.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we can dive into that a little bit more later. But the point of the Havoc rate for them is they're good and we are not.
Yeah.
Is that a fair Cliff Notes version?
Mostly about how good where they are, where they rate on that. And I think that's a fun stat.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Unfortunately, the Cowboys are not very good at that either.
And I love when stats are named correctly.
Okay.
Because
What do you mean?
Sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions, and all that. That's havoc. That's chaos right there. I love when they're named correctly.
Is there any part of you, though, that wishes every single one of those categories actually spelled out like HAVOC?
I want acronyms for everything.
That's
yes.
probably too much to ask. You're right. And we need
like the Raptor in basketball.
Yeah, exactly. We need to dive back in to the defense, and we will. I wanted to throw out one particular concerning offensive set of numbers for me, because this just feels like a tough spot to be in. So, highest percentage of first down plays gaining 4+ yards.
Okay.
And then assuming you don't get a penalty, that's kind of the idea of like, hey, how can we stay even with or get ahead of the chains, right?
Yep.
So, number one in all of football is the Chiefs, which that makes sense.
Because they're the team that's winning.
They are very good. Number two is the Lions. 56% of the time, so more than half of the time, they get 4+ yards on first down. So that's going to set you up for success.
Yep.
Here's the other thing.
You can do anything on second down.
Exactly. That is a great point. Here's the thing that concerns me, though. Let's say you do shut them down on first and second down. The Lions are tied for the highest conversion rate when facing a third and long. A third and long here is defined by 10 yards or more. The Lions convert 37.5% of the time. So they like to get ahead of the chains. And if they don't, they're the most effective team in the league at converting on lengthy third downs. That seems like a horrifying combination for your defense to go up against.
Yeah, and add in not just third and longs, but 45, almost 46% on just third down. Just in general, almost half the time they're converting, while on the other side, they're allowing only 31%. So, and then they're going to go for it on fourth if they don't.
Yes.
Like Dan Campbell's like, we're on our own 4-yard line? Fine, let's get it. We only have 1 yard anyway. Hell, let's do it. And again, tough-nosed dude who's like, I believe in my team at all times. Outside
of, obviously, you want the Cowboys to win, is Dan Campbell your favorite non-Cowboys associated coach in the NFL?
That's an interesting conversation because
maybe McDaniel.
McDaniel's fun, but it's not working. And Dan Campbell, like everything that he preaches is everything of an old school coach, like an old school high school coach.
True.
You think of Dan Campbell because it's just like, we're going to hit you in the mouth and bite kneecaps and drink lots of coffee. And so so he emulates that perfectly, and people buy into it and they believe it and they're fighting for it. And they've turned into a tough team. And that's not something you really expected. A lot of you were like, okay, that bit's going to fade at some point. They love the guy. So, yeah, I think that's one of those guys that you're kind of rooting for and not at the same time.